Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for this special preview of RAPS Convergence 2026, where regulatory affairs professionals from around the world get the chance to connect, share insights, and learn from experts shaping our future. And this year's extra special, we're celebrating RAPS' 50th anniversary and looking ahead to the future and everything still to come. So joining us today are four panelists who each have a unique perspective of RAPS Convergence. We have Chris Wally, who's Senior Director and Head of Global Regulatory Intelligence and Analysis at Pfizer, and he's our RAPS Convergence 2026 Committee Chair. Amar Rasik is the Vice President of Global Government Strategy at Viva MedTech, and she is our RAPS Convergence 2026 Committee Vice Chair. Sequita Lindsay joins us. She is the Senior Manager at Regulatory Affairs at Infection Prevention USBD, and she's the Chair of our RAPS North Carolina Local Networking Group. And Linda Bowen, Adjunct Professor at Temple University Pharmacy School, RAPS Convergence Advisor. Thanks again for joining us. We're so excited for a great conversation about RAPS Convergence 2026. And with that, I'm going to hand things over to Chris, so take it away.
Thanks, Paula, and hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well today on a Monday. We're going to kick it off moving to the next slide, where we talk about why we want to go to Convergence. And if you've been to Convergence, you know there are thousands of professionals that join us from the pharmaceutical industry, biologics, med tech, med device, software as a medical device, all kinds of different industries. And it's that coming together of the peers and seeing the common patterns that we share in our different industries, but also some of the differences that we experience. There are hundreds of educational seminars, each one programmed, by the Convergence Planning Committee. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But those sessions are really designed based on what topics you've asked folks to present on, topics we know are of interest due to changes maybe in the regulatory landscape, and emerging topics through the development of scientific innovations and technology. It's also a global hub for networking, not only with your peers, but with subject matter experts, key opinion leaders, and regulators. So that coming together of ideas and network is really what the conference is all about. Next slide.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We know there's probably many of you from different parts of the world. We really appreciate it. And we also hope that many of you will join us at the 2026 Convergence as well. We welcome everyone from different parts of the world. And I think that's really what makes RAPS special and the Convergence special, and especially the 2026 Convergence, right? We know there's a lot of changes going on across the world in the regulatory ecosystem. There's a lot of different changes, different new regulations, different geographies that we need to sort of keep track of. So from AI integration to sort of shifting those health authority expectations, 2026 is going to be different. It's an important year, and it's one where you really need to learn from your peers. You need an opportunity to benchmark and to really understand what are other people doing and how are they keeping up with everything that's going on. On top of all of the knowledge that you will gain in 2026 at the Convergence, it's really a crucial pit stop, right, for your career maintenance. By attending, you'll earn all of the necessary credits to maintain your hard-earned RAC and RAC credentials, of course, right? And what makes 2026 truly unmistakably, it's going to be fantastic. We are all very, very excited. We are celebrating a massive milestone. It's been 50 years since RAPS was born, also 50 years since the 1976 medical device amendments were put in place. So it's huge. There's a lot that has changed in 50 years. We're honoring really 5 decades of regulatory excellence with the Convergence, and we're going to have incredible special guests. There's going to be opportunities to engage, to celebrate with people, to really learn unlike anything you've ever seen before. So we are super excited. Don't wait for the future of regulatory affairs to happen without you. 50 years has gone by really fast. I have not lived all 50 years within RAPS to know exactly what has happened, but I've read the history books to know that I don't want to miss as much as I can capture over the next several years, right? So secure a spot today, join the community, let's celebrate 50 years, and we cannot wait to see you there. Go to the next page, please.
Nice. So at the end of, after each convergence concludes, the planning committee basically starts planning the next year's convergence. And so, it's Amra and I both have the pleasure of leading the team this year and next year. And we pretty much right after the last convergence, we did an analysis of like which sessions were good, what speakers were good, what did people like about the event, what did they want to see done a little bit differently. So we really start almost the week after convergence concludes for planning next year. And as part of that, you've probably seen the call for proposals, and that's where folks such as yourselves submit session ideas. And then the committee reviews all of those incoming ideas, ranks them, debates them, which ones we should keep. And unfortunately, we often get many more submissions than we're able to keep. So we have to be really selective. And sometimes we're able to combine those if we see some synergies between different ideas and speakers, then we take advantage of that and group people together. So we basically start building the agenda immediately after convergence concludes. We're already in the middle of we've selected the sessions now. Amra and myself and the team are actively coaching the session speakers to develop their content, develop the learning and talking points that they want to communicate to all of you. And we've heard loud and clear that you want to make sure that all of the sessions you attend have some key information that you can take away and immediately apply back into your job. And so we're working with the session leads to make sure that you get those actionable insights that really help you in your day-to-day work. And it's not just something you're in a meeting room for an hour at convergence and not able to use that information. So we don't want that to happen, and we take a lot of care in making sure that the content that we deliver is programmed exactly for you and your role. We have a number of different formats. So we've got workshops, and you can attend if you really want to deep dive on something, come to one of those pre-conference workshops. Linda and myself are going to be running one this year. I think it'll be pretty good. We usually get good attendance and feedback. But if you want to deep dive on something for 8 hours and really get to know a group of people and a topic very well, those workshops, the pre-conference workshops, are an excellent way to do that. Once we get to the main conference, we have several different formats. We've got solution circles where things are more conversational, less presentation-like. We have the formal sessions where folks are presenting either case studies or having panel discussions about topics, bringing together ideas and perspectives, and really trying to give you a 360-degree view of these topics that we all know are really important. And then we also try and look at what level are each of these sessions built to in terms of learning level and experience level of attendees. We want to make sure we have things both for the kind of new to industry and early careerists, all the way on through to maybe intermediate and advanced topics. So we try and make sure we have something for everyone, regardless of your skill level or experience in industry, and really make sure that that content is there for you. And with that, I think we can proceed to the next slide.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. So we already spoke about how special 2026 is going to be at RAPS, right? At the convergence. There's going to be a lot of firsts this year. There's going to be a lot of guests that we have not had before. There's going to be a lot of different ways that we are elevating the convergence and the sessions, right? We really want to make this a complete experience for you guys. And I think we really are setting the bar very high this year, and rightfully so, right? First, we are moving every year. Those of you who have attended in the past, I think it's been clear that we are moving away from the standard passive presentations, right? Every year, we are really trying very hard to provide dynamic, interactive learning formats. Think workshops, as Chris just mentioned, case studies, roundtable discussions, fireside chats, right? There's going to be things that are done differently so that those of you who have different learning capabilities and different formats that works for you can get what you want and the format is going to be there. This really naturally feeds into a strong peer collaboration, right? You're sitting shoulder to shoulder with colleagues who maybe you don't get to see very often, or you don't, maybe you're meeting them for the first time, and the experience, just really want to make it so that that experience is, again, complete for you. You get the whole package. When it comes to building your circle, your network, it can be structured, it will be organic, right? Whatever, again, suits your needs. Yes, there's going to be scheduled reception, right? Dedicated mixer events, which all of those are going to be pretty fantastic. You'll hear from our chair, but I think this location is going to be very well suited for this community that we have here. But there's, of course, coffee sessions, right? You're standing around. I don't think you're going to find a minute of space that is not utilized. If you are the type of person that's looking to really fulfill and get your money's worth, right, for this investment, this is going to be it. This convergence is going to have all of it. We've really designed this year, every year, but this year in particular, with every stage of career in mind, right? Whether you're a newcomer, really trying to understand the fundamentals, maybe you're a mid-career professional looking to maybe specialize a little bit more, or maybe you're a veteran, right? Maybe an executive that's steering a global strategy internally. There is going to be a pathway that's tailored to your needs. And we really are excited about putting all of that together for you. So no matter where you are in your career, you're going to walk away with practical knowledge and a stronger network than you have had before. I can guarantee you, you're not going to be able to count on your two hands how many new people you have met. It's going to be fantastic. So yeah, it's going to be great. We can move to the next page.
Nice. I can get us started off on this one. I really, I remember it very clearly because actually Linda Bowen, who's on the call with us today, was my manager for a number of years. And when I first started reporting to Linda, she had mentioned Convergence, and I'd been a RAPS member for a while, but never been to Convergence before. And I think it was 2019. We had just started together at a new company, and she said, "Hey, why don't you come? Let's go to Convergence." And I had heard about it, not gone, and we traveled to Philadelphia. I think that was the last in-person Convergence before the pandemic shutdown happened, and we went virtual for a couple of years. But that experience going to Philadelphia, going to RAPS, and really engaging live with people in a huge environment like that was eye-opening for me. And I was just an attendee at that point. I hadn't presented at all, but I immediately got hooked on the idea of thinking, well, what could I contribute to something like this? Like there's all these people and subject matter experts presenting this great information, but I would love to present something too. So it took me a year to kind of, after that experience, to figure out, what was I going to participate on in terms of presenting information. So I started down the journey of doing some regulatory intelligence sessions and really getting involved as a volunteer. Moving from just an attendee to the volunteer really helped me see, how much this community gives back to you when you give to it. It's not just being present, but it's actually getting engaged and sharing what you know, because you probably know more than you think you do. And that was one thing that I learned as well. As you start to present and share your knowledge that you've accumulated with other people, you really start to appreciate, hey, I've got this great set of skills that maybe not everyone has. And I can learn from others who have a great set of skills that I would like to learn myself. So just going to Convergence for me, starting to go, was kind of started to open the door in terms of who I was meeting, but also into the confidence that I had in the what I had learned, and the fact that people thought it was worth seeing my session. So if you go this year as an attendee, I strongly encourage you to think about what you might be presenting at a future Convergence, because we'd love to have you. And I'll stop my story. I could ramble on forever and maybe hear from Amra about her Convergence journey.
Thank you, Chris. That's really good advice for first comers. I love that. So 20 years ago, when I started in regulatory affairs, the landscape, as I mentioned, looked very different, right? I knew I needed a compass to really navigate this ever-changing field, and it looked um, uh, again very different. And that's when I found RAPS. It was through a mentor who had mentioned it. So joining it early in my career was hands down, I would say, one of the best decisions that I made, and that really made me or helped me get where I am today. Looking back, the impact on my career uh, and the growth I've made was really immense. RAPS became sort of the ultimate toolkit, if you will, for two things. First of all, definitely networking, but then staying ahead of the curve, right? There's not another conference out there that focuses on the things that I need to better myself as a regulatory professional. This is it, right? There's other conferences you can pick up bits and pieces, but if you want, again, what I spoke to in the earlier slide, that complete experience, it's the convergence where you're going to get that. Instead of just sort of reacting to the latest industry changes, RAPS sort of gives me that insight to anticipate them, with truly sort of, again, helps accelerate my growth, because I can take that knowledge internally, share it with the leadership team, so that the entire organization can prepare better. People often ask me, and I also teach at a local university in Minnesota, so have a lot of access to students in particular. But people often ask, what makes RAPS different from other professional societies? And as I mentioned, it really is different. But from a content perspective, definitely. But it's the community that really makes RAPS. And the sooner that you start participating, the sooner you become part of that community, and you can feel like you are part of that community. And as Chris mentioned, if you can then also contribute, then you truly are a valuable member. And you just keep building. The ecosystem just keeps expanding and growing from there on. And, advice, in terms of advice, I would say my golden rule has always been, and this is what I tell my students to, and anyone that I speak with, is don't wait for permission to grow, right? Don't just sit around. Management is busy. We mentioned there's a lot going on. They are not going to come to you immediately. You have to be the one to see what value you can gain from RAPS. Review the slides, the agendas. I mean, go through what do you think are valuable points. If you're local, I think that makes it a lot easier to justify it for yourself, right? It's an investment in your career. So don't wait for management, for leadership to come to you and say, hey, do you want to go to RAPS? Sure, that can happen. It's not going to happen the first, several years. And I think that initial stage is getting maybe longer and longer as the complexity and regulations and the stringent travel budgets and less staff to do things. There's more AI focus. All of this is impacting the ability for people really to participate in things. And I would say take matters into your own hands. Again, don't wait for permission to grow. Take it, review the agenda, go to your management, discuss it, see how you can get coverage for it. But the more involved that you are, the more valuable you're going to be to them. Because if you're proactive with your career, they're going to know that you're going to be proactive to help the organization grow better and faster. So that would be my advice.
Greetings, everyone from North Carolina. I'm thrilled to take part in this conversation right now. It really is a full circle moment for me, because getting everyone excited about convergence in Charlotte is genuinely personal. I'm not just a local. I was born and raised here in Winston, North Carolina, about an hour and a half down I-85 from Charlotte. So when I tell you I have the insider details on the Tar Heel State, I mean it. I've been a RAPS member since 2007, so almost 20 years. I've lost count how many convergences I've attended, but I'll say at least 10. And convergence has shaped me as a regulatory professional, and I'm proud to lead the charge here in North Carolina. So again, I'm the chair and president of the North Carolina Local Networking Group. And I want you to know that we are not just getting started. The Local Networking Group has launched, it's active, and it's growing. When you land in Charlotte for Convergence, you will not just be arriving at a conference, you will be arriving at a community. And that is how it's been working and connecting and building all year long. And you're going to feel that moment as soon as you walk through the doors. I want to talk about connecting with your local regulatory community. Again, the local North Carolina local networking group exists so that this profession feels less like a solo sport and you're more in tune with everyone involved. So whether you've been in regulatory affairs for 20 years or 20 months, come find us in September. You will leave with real relationships and not just business cards. Be engaged all year long with us. This is not a see you next September kind of group. We run events, programming, and community building all year long. Convergence is where you will meet us. The North Carolina LNG is where you will stay connected. Stay connected beyond the event. Find us on LinkedIn, on RegX, or just walk up and say hello in September during the chapter and LNG meet and greets. The best thing I can tell you about Convergence is this: the conversations that will change your career won't always happen in the session rooms. They will happen in the hallways, in the restaurants, and the moments in between. Be open to those moments. The best professional relationships I have ever made started with a simple hello at a conference just like this one. Move to the next slide. Now, let me tell you all about the city itself, because Charlotte is going to surprise you. The Queen City was named after Queen Charlotte, the wife of King George III of Great Britain. This is not just a backdrop for the conference. Charlotte is a city that is actively building the kind of life science ecosystem we all work in every day. The greater Charlotte region is home to more than 60 life sciences companies and over 300 support firms. The Pearl Innovation District launched last year and brings together world-class research, academic excellence, and product innovation right in the heart of Midtown. RAPS did not pick Charlotte by accident. Charlotte is the perfect city to host the world's largest regulatory affairs conference. So let's talk about connecting with a strong and growing regulatory community. You're going to feel this in September. The energy in that convention center is going to reflect a city and a state that genuinely understands what we do and why it matters. Engaging with the active local networking group. Again, the North Carolina LNG will be visible and active all week during Convergence. We will be your on-ramp to everything Charlotte has to offer professionally, and we cannot wait to show you what we have been building. Explore food, culture, and neighborhoods. I could talk about this all day, but this is my top insider tip. There's a restaurant called Mertz Heart and Soul on 214 North College Street, which is the same street as the convention center and just a short walk away. It has been a cultural anchor in Uptown Charlotte since 1998. This is your first dinner plan for September, and you may see me there also. Now, beyond the sit-down meals, I need to talk to you about two non-negotiable North Carolina experiences. First, cheer wine. It is a cherry soft drink made right here in the Carolinas since 1917. And if you've never had one, that changes in September. You will find it everywhere. And second is Bojangles. I know some of you are thinking, and this is not a fast food conversation, this is a cultural conversation. Bojangles is a North Carolina institution, born right here in Charlotte in 1977. And their seasoned fried chicken and made from scratch biscuits are something every first-time visitor to the state needs to experience at least once. Consider it as part of your Convergence orientation. So most spend your time in Convergence, but come early and stay late if you can. Charlotte is walkable, it's friendly, and it rewards curiosity. The NASCAR Hall of Fame is steps from the venue, and I hope to see you all there Thursday night for the closing celebration. Romare Burden Park is right in Uptown. It's a beautiful green space named for one of the city's most celebrated artists. It will be the perfect place to decompress between sessions. If you want something you can walk into during lunch, the Batchelor Museum of Modern Art is right in the heart of Uptown. The giant Firebird sculpture is out front and it stands 18 feet tall and is covered in thousands of tiles of mirrored glass. You will know it when you see it and you will want a photo. So plan an hour inside and you will not regret it. September in Charlotte is going to be special and we want you there. So if you've been on the fence about joining us, this is the moment that pushes you out of it. The Queen City is ready and the North Carolina LNG is ready also. And I cannot wait to see you there in September. I'm going to pass the baton now over to Linda Bowman.
Thank you, Sakita. I am a transplanted North Carolinian. I unfortunately don't live that close to Charlotte. I live off of Wilmington. So if anybody knows anything about North Carolina, it's about 500 miles wide. It's a very wide state. But I'll be in Wilmington. So if you have some time after Convergence, come on out to the beach. Next slide, please. So I've been attending Convergence for about 30 years now. And I can only remember the first time I went was because I spoke. And I may have gone before that, but you'll have to forgive me for forgetting some of the things that happened in the 90s. I started in regulatory over 40 years ago, and I had a manager who insisted that I join RAPS. I didn't really understand why he wanted me to join an association, but he assured me that it was the place that I was going to learn to grow, and he was really very, very correct. So thank you, Dr. DeMaio, back in 1993, telling me that I needed to join RAPS because it started a snowball effect for me. So my first Convergence, and I don't want anybody in the audience laughing, I spoke on internet intelligence. Now, 1997, the internet was very, very, very new. So new that a lot of us had no idea even how to get into it. I think a lot of us had dial-up service on AOL. But there was a time when the health authority started posting things on the internet, and it was a time of kind of birth for a lot of us because everything was paper-based prior to that time. So I come from that paper-based time in regulatory, so I've seen a lot of change over the last 30 years. I've seen ICH, so I'm from the biopharma side, the birth of ICH in the early 1990s. It's just been an amazing time to see the growth of a profession that's been so important to me. And after that first time of speaking, like Chris said before, you get this itch and you know that you want to do more. And that's when I started to really grow with RAPS. I became a chapter leader, started the New Jersey, New York chapter in 2003. I was on the RAPS board of directors from 2006 to 2012. I became a RAPS fellow. I'm a RAPS mentor. I've been on probably every committee possible. I just edited a lead editor of a book, Regulatory Intelligence Reimagined. And the volunteerism continues, even though I'm now retired from industry. And I will be there this year at Convergence. I'm not going to miss Convergence this year, even though it is close by. It's 4 hours by car. But I'll be going next year, and I'll be going the year after that, because there's always something new that I need to learn. I probably won't even go to the biopharma sessions. I'll probably go to the medical device sessions, which I know very little about because I want to learn something new. And the last thing is, and I'll change I wanted to show this and I'm just remembering to do it now, but this background is a compilation of all the paper agendas that we used to be given when it was called RAPS Annual Conference, before it was even called Convergence. So behind me, you'll see all the different brochures. I thought it was important to show that we really have evolved over the years. We now have an app, makes life really easy. So I hope to see you at Convergence. Please stop by and see me. I'll be at the mentoring mentee session. I'll be at the chapter session, and I'll be in the hallways. And as Chris said before, I'll be doing a pre-conference workshop on Monday. I will turn it back over to RAPS.
Thank you. So we're going to open this up to questions. I think there might be some difficulties in the Q&A section. So if you'd like to put your question in the chat, that way we can see that and respond. And then there was a question, Iris, if you could read that one. I don't have that one.
Sure. Hi, everyone. There was a question from one of our members saying advice about entry-level roles and how to progress in this career.
So I can start if that's okay. on the medical device side of things, I think entry level, well, first of all, congratulations on being in an entry level role, right? There are definitely still a lot of jobs. I think in general, this industry is pretty secure, probably more so than many other industries. Yes, jobs change. Abilities to get really good jobs in really good companies that you've sort of maybe envisioned. Maybe that takes a little bit longer, but I would say keep hammering on, right? Keep earning those credits, right? Keep presenting yourself as the professional that you are. Look for opportunities where you can better the organization, right? Outside of the window of your responsibility, right? Look at just anything that can make the team look better, operate better, be more efficient, right? Anything that your manager sees you stepping outside of the box and really looking to kind of lead the organization. All of those things, I would say, add up, and all of those things manager sees and others around you will see. So I will say, try to find a way to stand out outside of your normal day-to-day responsibilities if you have the time, right? Don't let that lack. Make sure that that's secured. But in general, just continue hammering on. Come to RAPS, right? Meet other people. For me, I've changed jobs several times in my career. I would say four different companies. Every single change was because of my networking. It was either they triggered a conversation or they recommended a position or something of that nature. But really, relationships and the network matters. It always has mattered, but I feel like these days it probably matters more than before. That's why I think the convergence is more important to attend than ever before. So that would be my advice.
Thank you, Amra. Anybody like to elaborate?
I think
I'd like to add something. If this person
Yeah.
is attending Convergence, they may want to sign up for the mentee mentor session where we do speed mentoring. Have stayed connected to most of the people that I speed mentored with over the last few years. So if you are attending Convergence, it's a fantastic way. And RAPS also has a mentor mentee if you are a RAPS member. And I'm also a mentor there, and I'm sure a lot of us here are as well. You might want to look into something like that.
Chris, did you have anything to say?
No, Linda and I were on exactly the same wavelength. I was going to mention the mentor-mentee sessions. And having been on the mentor side of things, I can't encourage you enough to go to those speed mentoring sessions. It's just helpful to get an outside perspective sometimes on something. If you're in a situation where you're in it day to day, it's easy to maybe lose a little bit of perspective, and having to articulate where you're at, what your goals are to someone else who doesn't know you that well at all. And then to hear their feedback, sometimes that can just give you the adjustment of perspective you need to really get clarity and help you figure out how to get to that next stage. So the one other thing I would add is, moving up in your career sometimes is just preparing yourself for some unknown opportunity that's going to come along. So use this time now to give yourself the skills that you need. So when that opportunity does come, you can take advantage of it. For myself, I started out in biopharma back in 1999 in manufacturing. I was doing inventory control for a manufacturer. And then I got curious about electronic barcode systems, and that led me to computer validation. And then I was doing computer validation, and that led me into quality systems. And then while I was doing quality systems, I also got exposed to regulatory operations and submission publishing, and that got me into regulatory. And so, I would never have known when I started in inventory control that I was going to end up in regulatory, but just learning skills, being curious about other parts of your business and operations, learning as much as you can about them. And then when opportunity knocks, maybe someone leaves the company and there's an open role. Maybe they're expanding a team and they're going to hire or add headcount. Maybe there is a volunteer or secondment opportunity within a large organization. Just prepare yourself so you can take advantage of those things. And going to RAPS and Convergence is also a great way to build that base.
I'd also chime in and say, be open to the conversations that are happening around you. During the lunch hours, sit with individuals you may not know, spark a conversation there. There are also dine arounds that happen during Convergence. Go with individuals you may have not had the opportunity to kind of meet before. You never know who could be your next friend in the industry. Could be a mentor or someone who just is looking out for you for various opportunities that may come up. So definitely be open now to meeting new people while you're in Convergence. It's one of those opportunities where you had to kind of get out of a comfort zone if you're the type that want to be alone or a loner, but try to break out of that, do it slowly, and just maybe talk to one or two people while you're there.
Maybe I'll just add one more point to that. Everybody's anticipating that they'll have conversations all the time, right? So don't be shy about approaching people because they're not going to be surprised. They are there to exactly do that, to network, to engage, right? And also don't be surprised if people approach you. You probably have a lot better presence than you think you do. So it goes both ways, right? That connection, but I would say don't be shy about approaching people and connecting and chatting because they are anticipating that. Nobody wants to be unless you really are there for a specific purpose. But for the most part, I would say people are there to really network because they know that that's what RAPS is known for. So.
Any other questions from anyone on the call? Please put them in the chat. And of course, you can always reach out to anybody at RAPS. We're here to help you. We'll connect you with the right person or answer the question if we can ourselves. And while we wait, if there are any questions, just want to remind you that early bird is tomorrow. So if you are getting ready to register, make sure you do so you can take advantage of the savings. And then on the slide, there's a QR code where you can download a justification letter, customizable. So if you need some assistance in encouraging your supervisor to attend, we put that together to help you as well. Anything the team would like to add before we close out?
Well, I'm looking forward to the food. Now that Sequita's been telling us about all the things, I'm ready to go.
Good. Excited.
Can you put all of that in the meeting minutes or in the notes when the slides go out?
Absolutely, I will.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everybody for taking the time. Again, we'll be sending the slides out. We'll make sure we have Sequita's notes on the food because I couldn't write them down fast enough. And then make sure and take the survey afterwards and how we can improve. We're always looking to improve everything for our members and our attendees. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and we look forward to seeing you in September.